Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, Jeremy Rockcliffe heads back into the Lion's Den tomorrow with Parliament resuming after the winter break. Despite a cabinet reset keeping troubles at bay, Labor has foreshadowed a tough week for the Premier.
A 6-week winter break has given the government a chance to reset.
The Premier's made it clear that we were affected by some issues that surrounded us, but we've got our focus back.
Now the perils of Parliament await them as they navigate governing in minority once again.
What we'll be concentrating on is our priorities and making sure that we're talking about the things that are important to Tasmanians.
I suspect this week of Parliament's going to be a very tough one for the Premier, Jeremy Rockcliffe.
Depending on the crossbench's appetite for carnage, an election trigger could come this week. Exiled Labor MP David O'Byrne is reiterating he wants to be a Labor candidate. Rebecca White firm he's not welcome in the caucus.
Well, I have made my position clear, and as I've also made clear, I'm not going to provide further comment on this.
After a first half of the year that was light on legislation, this week the government will debate its home warranty insurance scheme and guardianship reform. Changes to the projects of state significance pathway are also expected to be roundly supported. The Greens will move for an inquiry into ambulance ramping.
Ramping of ambulances in Tasmania has got rapidly and dramatically worse.
Saying it's time to listen to paramedics.
No one is immune to it. It's the weakest members of our community that are really affected by it.
We are seeing lives being put at risk because of ramping every single day.
Solutions needed to Tasmania's health crisis. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
A coroner has found a Tasmanian man who died after a motorcycle crash in 2021 was drunk, unlicensed and affected by cannabis at the time. Andrew Turner was killed after colliding with a parked car in his Rocherley driveway. Coroner Webster said despite riding dirt bikes off-road for many years, the 45-year-old was inexperienced in road riding and should never have been on the motorbike. And reporter John Hunt joins us from one of Hobart's watch parties. And John, Tasmanians too are gearing up to throw their support behind the team tonight.
Oh, they are, Kim. The crowd in Wellington Court might be small, but the atmosphere is starting to build for tonight's blockbuster clash. Despite the match still being more than 2 hours from kick-off, a few early birds have gathered to get the prime seats. Some are watching the England-Nigeria clash, while others are enjoying a bit of a kick-around, getting rid of that nervous pre-game energy. And don't forget, Kim, you can see the match here on 7 Tasmania if you can't make it to one of the live sites. Coverage begins at 8 p.m.
You look the part. Thank you very much there, John. Frightening footage has been released of Tasmanians cheating death, sneaking in front of trains at level crossings around the state. The vision is being made public to remind people of how dangerous it can be trying to save a few minutes of time.
The train can't stop, but that doesn't worry 2 pedestrians at this crossing. In a flash, they put themselves in the line of danger, dashing across the tracks in the nick of time.
Even though I've watched the footage multiple times myself, my heart's still in my throat.
These examples are among the 1,800 near misses nationally each year, and the number of incidents in Tasmania is rising, the worst being in the northwest.
There's a lot more crossings there, nice and close to city centres, so that's where we're seeing a lot of our near-miss events.
For Rail Safety Week, Tasrail hopes this reminds the public how dangerous it is to play chicken with a train.
5 laps of the UTAS stadium, to put things into perspective, that's how long it takes from an emergency brake application to when the train actually stops.
And for train drivers, the trauma has an impact.
If you've just had a near miss and nice and early in your shift, you've now got to drive for the rest of the day or night knowing that you nearly hit someone.
A big price to pay for the sake of a little bit of patience. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
There are calls for quicker fixes to busted fire equipment. Volunteers at the Claremont Fire Station claim they paid for repairs to a broken hose reel themselves after waiting 5 months for the department to address the fault.
We had to dismantle that so it was safe to travel on the road so it didn't become a projectile. It just makes it a lot harder when you're on the job to make sure that hose reel comes out okay.
This is something that we hear regularly from volunteer fire brigades and career brigades, that their vehicles aren't being regularly serviced, parts are falling off.
The Department of Police, Fire and Emergency was contacted for comment. A Tasmanian man is urging us all to learn more about strokes, saying he may have died if a family member hadn't picked up his symptoms immediately. The call coming at the beginning of National Stroke Week, which is aiming to make us more aware of the disease.
At 49, Eddie Jager felt in top shape. The Blackmans Bay man was a keen bike rider and bushwalker, also having a healthy diet. His life, however, changed quickly one day in 2020 while cleaning up.
All of a sudden felt really weak. My left arm dropped to my side. I made my way quickly to the back door of our house and fell through the door.
The engineer has spent years receiving rehabilitation after suffering a stroke, but it could have been worse if not for his wife.
She'd been to a first aid course the day before. She saw straight away what was going on and said to me, "You're having a stroke."
The Stroke Foundation estimates 700 Tasmanians are impacted each year, with our state having a higher risk factor compared to the mainland. However, they say the signs are straightforward. Facial paralysis, arm weakness and slurred speech are the key symptoms. We're being urged to remember the acronym FAST,
which stands for face, arm, speech, and T stands for time.
The last letter critically important.
You lose 1.9 million brain cells every minute. Every minute that goes by, the impact for stroke is greater.
These things are telling you something. Don't leave it. Get checked straight away.
Eddie's recovery is going well, now back walking and working. Looking to get back on track, he set a lofty goal for the end of the year.
One of them we talked about was, doing quite a long walk, and then I said, well, why not Mount Wellington? And that's kind of stuck now.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Improved accessibility will be front of mind when a new show takes over a Tasmanian stage later this month. Blind or low vision audience members will be offered audio description, giving them a chance to tap into the magic.
Making the theatre a place for all.
More blind and vision impaired people can enjoy the theatre and enjoy the richness that our Tasmanian art scene has to offer.
Youth dance company Drill will present 2 tailored shows at the Theatre Royal Studio Theatre, verbally describing every twist and turn of its new show Age to vision impaired patrons.
We've been wanting to improve our accessibility for members of the community across Tasmania.
To deliver to them what's happening on stage movement-wise and the visual costumes, props and set designs.
It's just one theatre company now equipped with a range of more inclusive skills.
One is describing the set, one is providing tactile tours, and one is providing live description through performance.
The training course, part of the Tasmanian creative community's effort to offer more accessible performances.
There's the audience is there, the describers are ready to go, and it's down to the companies to drive the change.
Now hoping to reintroduce the love for theatre.
A lot of people who have lost their vision really miss going to the theatre and seeing live performances.
Victoria Eastoe, 7 Tasmania News.
There's no love lost between Launceston and Kingborough. The grand final rematch this weekend could be hot-headed, with the Blues coming off a 10-goal win against Clarence and eager to prove their premiership credentials against the top-of-the-table Tigers.
We nearly beat them last time we were down there. We were 18 points up at three-quarter time and lost by 4 points. And that was without Jake Hines and Dylan Riley. The two teams don't like each other at all.
The state of Windsor Park was called into question by Clarence post-game. Thorpe says the criticisms are a storm in a teacup and the ground is fit for the league. To the Cripps TSL Player of the Year votes now after round 17. 3 votes for Angus Norton, best on ground for North Hobart. Jake Hines survived the mud to claim best on for Launceston at Windsor Park. And Kieran Lovell headlines a happy day for Kingborough. It's Ben Simpson still out in front on 18 votes. Sam Siggins and Jack Tompkinson are on 15. Coroner is confident more wins are around the corner after finally breaking its WSL drought in a dramatic 4-3 win over Kingborough on Friday. The captain challenging her teammates to turn winning into a habit.
We want to win games. We want to be competitive in this league, and I know we can. Every single player on our squad does have the skill.
After its NPL match was postponed, Devonport is confident a Sunday training session will have them ready for the Australia Cup.
We just tweaked it up a couple on the RPE and just made sure that we got bit of running their legs without overexerting them. Just
The Strikers clash with the Gold Coast Knights takes place on Wednesday. The race for the state motocross title is wide open, with Angus Pearce and Alex Williams winning their respective rounds in Oatlands, while defending champion Hugh Mackay is out injured, while Cooper Ford is still dominating in the junior ranks. The series heads to St Helens next.
Good evening. Hope you had a great Monday. Hobart and Launceston reached 15 degrees today. Burnie and Devonport 13. Temperatures did range from -5 at Lyowini this morning to a top today of 16 at St Helens. Fine and sunny for most of the state though. Lowhead, Friendly Beaches, Grove and Smithton all 15. King and Flinders Island 14. Ouse and Strawn 13 today. Lyowini did warm up to a high of 9. Some scattered low cloud today, along with an isolated band of higher cloud around the state. More cloud is visible over south, east and WA. However, most of the country cloud free today. Tomorrow a high moves over our region, extending ridges over most of the country, and the next front and trough way back to the west. West to southwesterly winds to kick us off tomorrow at 10 to 20 knots, lighter over the north. They should swing around to the northwest tomorrow evening. Tomorrow, 15 for Hobart, are mostly sunny, 14 the top for Adventure Bay, partly cloudy for Tarraleah, 2 overnight, 11 the high tomorrow. 15 for Launceston, partly cloudy, 14 for Devonport, partly cloudy for Bridport, 3 overnight, 13 the high. 13 for Burnie and partly cloudy, the chance of a shower for Strawn, 13 the maximum, 13 also at Marrawar. 15 the top for St Helens and partly cloudy, 16 the high for Swansea, White Marks sunny and 13 degrees. On Wednesday, light showers over the north, the west and King Island, northwesterly winds freshening. A few more showers into Thursday, mainly over the north and west again. And on Friday, showers for the west and far south with a possible afternoon shower elsewhere. Showers and 21 in Perth tomorrow, sunny and 17 for Adelaide. A cool 15 in Melbourne, a frosty start for Canberra, sunny and 23 in Brisbane. A cool night for the Matildas in Sydney, temperatures dropping to around 13 for the game with a high chance of showers. Right now here it's partly cloudy in Hobart, 8 degrees, 9 in Launceston and 9 right now in Devonport. Kim, I was going to just check if you had a restful weekend, but obviously you didn't because you've decided to only work a couple of days this week before going somewhere. What's the matter? What's going on?
I need a holiday, Murph. I need a holiday. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.